Hi everyone, welcome to Life Cues 2018. I'd like to welcome all my old Life Cue people, and if you are new, this is going to be the most incredible journey you're going to go on because you're going to learn a lot about yourself. Our first prompt for 2018, as I mentioned in the last video, is what word you've chosen to focus on for this year. I always use a focus word, and throughout the year it'll come back in my mind and come back in my mind, and it works. I don't know why. So my word this year is shed. I'll explain it more later. So for the newbies, what we do every week is I pick a focus word or a question. No. For the newbies, what we do every week is I give you a prompt, and you are to answer that prompt in visual art journaling. Doesn't mean you can't journal like script and writing, but it's art journaling, creative art journaling in your journal. I mentioned before you can make your journal out of anything. Christmas cards, glue them together, cover them with gesso so you have clean pages. A deck of cards. Refer back to my first introduction video that I made last week. I'm using my Dina Wakley journal. I bought this and I only did 2 pages in it, and then I just put it aside, and it's such a beautiful journal for mixed media. I just don't want to leave it on the shelf. So you can see it's got some paint marks and stuff in it because I was working in it at one time, and I tore out the 2 pages because I want it to be fresh. And this journal also has a place where you can stuff things in an envelope here. So without further ado, let's get started. And for all the new people, don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up and all that other jazz. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. We can all learn from that. And there's also a Facebook page. So every video that I create will also be posted on Facebook. So they're going to be here and Facebook. And I apologize about my fingernail polish. I got my nails done just before New Year's, and it's that gel polish, and it all peeled off. So the first one that peeled off was this, so I put the silver on to cover it up, but I'm calling them back because, I mean, 35 bucks, come on, that's a lot for that, you know. So I'm going to get started. So like I said, my word for 2018 is shed, meaning I want to try to let go, shed off, get rid of. But the reason I chose the word shed, it was because I want it to be a bit of a gradual process, not just like get rid of. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just going to grab some paper up here, and I'm out here in my art cabin. Lassetti and Rudo. You guys are all familiar with this joint. And I like that I can come out here even in the winter time and create. It's nice and warm. If you hear a clicking noise, there's a heater in here, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm using some Delusion sprays, and I want to start from the bottom, and I kind of want to make it brighter on the top. Okay? So I'm just using, I should have got paper for this cover. Well, I'm going to cover this book, so hopefully by next time I will have made some sort of cover on this book, so I'm not going to worry about that. A little bit of dark. Yeah, like I'm talking about, you know, there's a lot of things that, you know, you hang on to and come back to and still in your mind. I'm so tired of thinking about things of years gone by. Things you've done, mistakes you've made, and it's time to let it go. And I'm ready to let it go. And I might have to become Elsa. Let it go, let it go. You guys know. So I want to start off kind of dark at the bottom of the page here. Did you guys know that blue and orange makes brown? You probably figured that out when you didn't want to make brown, but yeah, it does. Blue and orange makes brown. So I'll be back. I'm just going to dry this before it drips all over the place. So you can see I've got this kind of black thing going on, which ended up staining some of the next pages. But not to worry, Monica. I will get my groove back in a minute. I'm just trying to create a background first. Well, you'll see. So I have the stencil here, and I'm going to use some black gesso. I just want some of these like holy things sort of around, not all over, but mostly at the bottom here. Yeah. And you can get gesso in black. So I'm going to use this black gesso and a palette knife. And I'm not mixing it with any molding paste or anything because I don't want it to be that bumpy-ish. Put it down here, just adding some texture with this stencil. But anyway, all of you guys know that when I art journal, I always am talking and sharing life experiences. And I've been through a lot, I tell you that. I have been through a lot. I could write a book. But some of those life experiences, no matter what, no matter if it was like grief or anger or hurt, regret, I don't care what it is, there comes a point when you have grieved enough and you have to put your big girl panties on and move the heck on. Okay? Like, really. You have a beautiful life to live, and it's just waiting for you to live it. I gotta dry this first before I add some more. Doesn't that look cool? Love it! There, can you guys see that? And the gesso does give texture. It feels like little bumpies. It's not the same as molding paste, of course, but it's pretty darn coolio. So I can't wait to hear what some of your word choices are. Even if you, I'm gonna put, I think it's already on my thing, on my channel, but you know how you can have people share their videos so that everybody can watch everybody else? So for those of you that do videos, not everyone does, which is why I have the Facebook page, but for those people that do videos, I want to be able to have a link. I really want us to be sharing what we're doing like we did last time. And last time life got in the way for Miss Monica and we stopped, but that's okay. I think a lot of people carried on, finished on with their year. I hope they did. And I'm not the expert. I'm just the guide. Just your guide. Okay, so I'm going to dry this and then I'm going to, well, I'll be right back. So the next thing I'm doing is taking this stamp here. It's those Prima stamps, those beautiful girls. I don't even know her name, but you know these guys. And I'm going to stamp her right here, okay? That's me, if you didn't recognize it. That's how beautiful I look. Yeah, yeah. I'm so excited to be doing this again. It's like it's getting back onto a bike. You don't forget. Like I'm trying to get my, you know, my groove back in here. Just like where my stuff is, where I leave things, you know, that kind of thing. But I'll get my groove back. That's for sure. And it's amazing how much you miss doing art journaling. It's like incredible how much you miss it. Let's see. Got to get this really inked up. And I'm sorry if there's lots of shadows in here. I haven't figured out the lighting, and I didn't want to waste any more time farting around. I just wanted to get started, you know? Like, what's the little shadows between a few gals, right? Can you imagine me going back to the manicurist now and saying, look at my hands, you guys did a terrible job. Yeah, I probably won't go back. I'll probably just fix it myself. Okay, hope this took. Yes! Woohoo! You know what it works out? This looks like this is her dress, and that was not my intention, but kind of coolio, I gotta say. So now I need a piece of paper because I want to make a mask for her. I don't want her, actually, you know what? I'm going to use the plastic that's on the stamp for right now. Then I can just wipe it off. So now I'm going to start spraying, but I'm going to start with brighter colors. It's almost like she's rising up out of the ashes. But, you know, as you shed all your crap off, things get brighter. Don't want to put too much of this blue because it's not that bright. I'm going to add some white. These are all Delusion sprays, by the way, if I didn't mention it before. Oh, isn't that pretty? Ooh-wee. I'm going to take this cloth and just blot it so it doesn't run under my plastic sheet. Oh, that's so pretty. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of yellow. I know it's going to make green, people. I hear you. But I'm going to dry it right away. There, that looks kind of cool. Now I'm going to just take a paintbrush, like this kind of a paintbrush, dip it in some water, ever-present water, and I'm going to open up my sprays and just kind of dab them around here because I didn't want to spray her completely, you know? And then just use the paintbrush and just paint in around her hair a bit. You know what I mean? And just keep doing that until I get the look I want. You know, if you want to keep a color true, the color, like you spray blue and then you want some yellow, take your heat gun and dry the blue first and then spray your yellow where you want it. And then chances are you won't get green. I just got lucky that it didn't turn green. So I'm just going to keep doing this till I get it where there, excuse me. So I filled in all the color spot, the blank spots that weren't filled in. So now we're left with her coming out of something. Excuse me, got a tickle in my throat. So now I'm going to take my watercolor crayons and that same brush I was using before, and I'm just gonna I always say gonna, I am going to color her in. So let's take this one for her face. Oh, that's pretty. I could have used a smaller paintbrush, but you know. I like using watercolor crayons this way, where I apply the brush to the crayon instead of rubbing the crayon on the page first. I find that I get a lot less streaks. She's almost the color of the ground, but that's okay. My sister friend. That's okay, honey. No problemo. See how fast that goes when you do that? I love it. Okay, now I'll do her hair. I'm going to give her a combination of black and silver hair, just to make a contrast from the ground down here. Get lots on this brush. Maybe I will color a little. I want it dark. See what happens. And do her. But I hope you guys are starting off the new year in a positive place. And if you aren't, see, that's what I don't like. You see how it does that? Ugh. I hope you are starting off in a positive place. And if not, I am very sorry. I'm here for you. I say prayers for all you guys. I have a prayer box downstairs in my sacred space. That's where I spent most of the morning yesterday because I was in a funk. I wasn't feeling good the night before, and then some of the medicines that I take to help me feel good, the next day, I like to call it a drug hangover, and it just makes me feel really grumpy and sensitive and like a big baby pretty much. And so I just thought, no, I'm going in there, because I did some journaling, lit a candle, smudged, and I felt 1,000 bazillion times better. I'm now using this one, sort of a gray. I think it is a gray. I thought it was silver, but I quite like it. It's a gelato and not a crayon, but I still do the same thing, and it's also covering up my little smudge there a bit. So yeah, I just wasn't feeling good, you know, and I think it's really important that we share when we aren't feeling mentally well. Like, I was like, cray. I told Richard, don't even talk to me, don't even look at me, don't even breathe, just don't, because I've warned you, you know. So I just thought the best place for me to be is alone, and it's just such a tiny little corner, but I love it. And my grandson loves it too. When he gets his feelings, very, very sensitive child, when he gets his feelings hurt, he kind of runs off, and he used to run outside, and I said, you don't need to run outside. Nana has a space just for that for me. Oh, I'm hot. You guys are opening the window in the middle of the winter. That's how warm it gets in this art cabin. I'm just getting a really skinny little brush like so to do her lips. And I gave him a candle in there, and it's got, it's one of those candles that's no real candle, it's battery, you know. But it's his candle, and I told him so whenever everyone will ask, where is, you know, I'm not going to say his name, but where is so-and-so? And I go downstairs and peek, and I see the candle burning. It touches my heart, because I'm like, oh, little guy gets it. He gets it. So I'm going to make him a little journal for him, and if he's at Nana's house, he can go and journal and write whatever the heck he wants to. Who cares, right? There. She's almost done. I'm going to give her green eyes only because, oh no, let's give her violet eyes. Yes, why not? Like Elizabeth Taylor. I just can't wait to hear you guys' words. There we go. And her eyebrows. She needs to fix those brows, get those brows on fleek, honey. Hunty, they're not looking good. There we go. Oh, I feel so good out here. This is so wonderful. I hope somebody's out there watching with me, but even if they aren't, I hope you are. But if you're not, I could do this alone. Okay, so I'm going to color these flowers green. I'll be back when I'm all done with this part of it, and we'll carry on to the next part. So I'm bringing my page closer so you can see it all, just sort of like that. Of course, the camera goes out of focus when I do that. But just so you can see what I've done, I colored her all in, and I outlined her a little bit with a pen. And now, what I'm going to do, this is the pen I used. So now what I'm going to do is I've got a whole, I'm sorry about this shadow here. I've got a whole bunch of text, cardboard, coffee filter, just whatever. And I'm going to glue these things down here a bit. And then what I'm going to try to do is peel it back so it looks like she's shedding it away. This is what in my dream I wanted it to be. So I'm not going to glue it down really good because I want it to pull back. Do you know what I mean? So we're going to put it there, that piece. Give it a second and we'll just try this out on the coffee filter. Just put it wherever random. You know how you get these ideas in your head and you're like, you know. Because I want it to just kind of shed without coming off. Sort of. So that's my goal. But I will be back when I'm done making this, whatever it is I'm doing down here. Or when I get it together. I hope you guys can see what I've done here. So I've been gluing papers on and then just tearing them off, like shedding. See? And just shedding it off. And I'm telling you, this has been cathartic like that for me. So much so that I started crying while I was doing this. So yeah, I got a lot to shed. And this art journaling stuff can be so healthy mentally for you. You don't even know it. Especially if you're focusing on a specific something that you're trying to, you know. Anyway, oh, you probably noticed her hair is much darker. I took a hobby color black and decided to color in her hair. And now I'm going to distress this with Distress ink, or Distress Oxide. And I'm going to take the stencils and write the word shed up at the top. And I think I have a friend.
Hi.
Hi. So I thought I'd finish off the page with on camera with you guys, show you what I'm doing, and then I'll go over some of the things I have done. So right now I'm just doodling around the word shed. I used a red pen and those stencils that I showed you earlier. They look like this. These are the number ones, but they're pretty big. I wrote the shed and then I wrote the word 20, or the number 2018. So now I'm just doodling around. I'm doing a dash, 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 squiggle, squiggle, squiggle. I love that doodle. I don't know why. I go through phases where I like certain doodles. And yeah. So I'm just finishing off the D. And then I took some Tim Holtz, those words, and I think it's Tim Holtz phrases actually. It's not really words. I have the words in the house, but these are phrases. And that dash went kind of wonky, but it doesn't matter in the whole scheme of things. You don't even really, you look at it as a whole, not as one little dash way up there. Okay, so I put these words here and it says, "Dearly beloved, we are gathered together because I'm shedding. So it's sort of like a funeral. My camera's a little crooked. Hang on. It fell on the floor when Richard came to visit. There. So let me check. See if you're in frame. Yes. So, dearly beloved, we are gathered together. So, it's like a funeral. The words you say at a funeral when you're saying goodbye to something. So then this one says, and let it fly away. So again, shedding. I'm using a medium pit pen, the littler ones. I'm just making a rudimentary line around it. So I had to come in because my memory card was full. So I finished it off. It was almost finished when I brought it in. So let me start over. I did some doodling, as I mentioned, around the letters. And then right here I scripted let it go, let it go, let it go. So there's my doodly letters, 2018. And right here it says, dearly beloved, we are gathered together. And here it says, I don't have my glasses on, and let it fly away, be gone. And then this one says, handle with care, because when you were doing the shedding process and trying to get rid of things that you've been hanging on to, it can be really emotional. So just handle yourself with care, and you know, it's a very cathartic process, but there comes a time when you just got to let that go. Let that stuff go. So this is a time for me to start shedding so that my beautiful self can emerge from all of this down here. And you can see how I'm starting to shed it off and peel it off and all of that. And this one says, in her heart. And down here is just all of that the stuff that we carry around with us. And if we could shed it all off, we could see our beautiful selves underneath. Right here I just wrote the date. I have another quote in here, I think somewhere. Oh, I did some, what is that? Oh, nothing. Right here I wrote, any more than a carry-on is way too much baggage, and which is so true. I don't want to carry too much into the new year. I want to go in light, free, feeling good, feeling my inner peace, inner beauty. And then I just took a stamp, a grunge stamp that had little white dots on it, and dotted it all over. So there is my first page for Life Cues 2018. I hope you liked it. I hope you liked the process, and I hope you're going to join everyone in this process. Hashtag LQ 2018. So we'll see you next time. Bye.